Okay, I'm just gonna do like a roll call, just as you do. Answer yes if I call your name. Susan Grillo.
Yes.
Damon Jesperson.
Yes.
Bill DeMayo. Maybe. Yes. John Ferrara.
Yes.
Chuck Bear.
Yes.
And our guest is Cindy. For those who don't know John, John was appointed by the select board last Tuesday night to join this group, this board. And we're glad to have him with us. So I think I need a motion to begin the meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Public comment, none, we'll waive that. This will probably be a very quick meeting. We were to review and approve the minutes from October 17th. We'll do that first. Last time we couldn't do it because we didn't have a Chris wasn't at the meeting, so she couldn't vote for it. So anyway, thank you, Chuck.
Motion to approve the minutes as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I need a motion to approve the minutes of the November 21st meeting that we had.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Chairperson's report, that would be my report. I just wanted to say that Cindy and Kathy and the volunteers did a great job with the Christmas luncheon that we had last week. It was well attended, close to 60 people were there. Santa Claus showed up with Mrs. Claus. I won't divulge who it was a secret. We had 3 musicians who played. You're probably going to talk about this as well, but I just want to say it was really well done. And what I want you to know is that it's an incredible task because literally everything from salt and pepper shakers go from 12 Kent Way to Plum Island to get used, and they all get packed up in the cars again and come back here. So someday, if the council is ever in a building that could accommodate all of the above and the kitchen facilities of it, it would be immensely easier to put on, to host events like that. I mean, their 2 cars are loaded, and I even fit stuff in the back of the Volkswagen. Not too much, but some. But it was good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cindy.
Great job. I have something to pass out later that's not on the agenda. It's just for information purposes, but I think that's it for my report. Cindy?
So the holiday party was first on my list. So yes, Bill covered everything that I was going to mention. I did send a couple of photos to Dave Rogers over at the Newburyport Daily News, asking if he could get those in the paper.
Today?
I was hoping it would be in today's.
It made the picture today of, what was it, Eugene?
Eugene and Marlene Kelly.
Yeah,
with Mr.
yeah.
and Mrs. Claus.
Yeah, John Lucy's picture was there as well.
Oh, nice.
With the representative and the senator.
Okay, perfect. We have a production from the Delvina Theater Company today. They're doing a Christmas Carol. That's today at 1 o'clock downstairs. We'll have popcorn and candy, and it's a 3-person interpretation of this. They have one of their people kind of as the narrator, but then she also plays Mrs. Cratchit. And, then we have Scrooge, and it's a pretty good production. We've seen it before, and it was something we wanted to do again. Our regular programs are going really well. Yoga, stretch and strength. We have a new knitting and crocheting drop-in group that's working pretty well on Thursday mornings. Bingo's well attended, the watercolor class every month, weekly van trips on Tuesdays to go grocery shopping. We started to do the traveling chef meals 2 months ago. Back during COVID, these meals were something that were packaged individually. We would, people would come in and pick them up and they would take them to go. So it was a grab and go meal. The original intent of the traveling chef was to be a social, in-person event. So they have come back to that. It is wildly popular, I'd say. So better food than I expected. And I think people are pretty pleased with it. So our next one is January 4th. I've done, I think, 25 meals for each of those events, and I've had to turn people away, because I didn't have people RSVP in time, I didn't wanna over order food, so the week before you have to give a number. I'm gonna increase that number a little bit, so that, eventually it'll grow. When we were doing the grab and go meals, we were doing about 40 meals a month.
Because you also delivered.
Right, we had
With the
homebound
grab-
people that I
yeah,
could deliver
grab and
to,
goes.
so
You can't-
that's different
can't
with
deliver
the,
this.
I can't do it.
I'll vouch for the quality of the food. I was there, and it was really, everybody raved about it. It was really good. It was really good.
Yeah, so this month, it's, in January, it's going to be corn or clam chowder and a bread bowl, a garden salad and a brownie. So, reservations are required for that. It's always on the back side of the newsletter. Again, it used to be the traveling chef, the grab and go, but now we always put it down here with the dates and the menus are listed there. I think I had brought the volunteer handbook to you guys a while ago, so we are working on a training. That is going to be on Thursday, January 12th. We're encouraging all volunteers, whether you come and fold newsletters with us, or you are a grocery shopper, or someone who does a wellness visit to people, and everyone in between, to come to this volunteer training. We're just trying to get sort of all our ducks in a row, have a more solidified program and not so willy-nilly.
Are you gonna record it?
That's a good point.
It's a good idea.
That way if someone isn't able to attend, they can catch
Well, if someone isn't able to attend, we do want them to call us, and we will either meet one-on-one, or because there's a lot of things with boundaries and things like that, that maybe you don't get from, I think having a conversation face-to-face is pretty important.
But if you prep that with sending them a YouTube clip to watch about it.
That's true, that's true. Next game night is Tuesday, January 24th. We are having Matt Gabriel from Animal World Experience come back in January. He came to us a month or two ago. He brought 6 different animals. He rescues all of these really interesting animals that people take in as pets, and then they can't or don't want to care for them any longer. And he has a plethora of things, from ferrets to, he had this giant lizard, he has all kinds of stuff. They're really cool. So he's coming back in January. We met with a woman from AARP's program called Tax Aid. Every year, we get calls from folks looking for assistance to do their taxes. And we ordinarily push them over to Newburyport. The first year I was here, no problem. We would send them to Newburyport, and we never heard back from them. Last year, we would send them over there, and they'd call back and said, we were told there's no more room. So we reached out to this woman to try and find a solution. I initially thought, could we be a site? There's a lot that goes along with becoming a site in terms of regulations and whatnot. And what she said to me is, based on the number of volunteers that she recruits this year to complete the tax returns, she could hopefully offer us a day where she could have like 3 people here doing taxes. They could get several done. I'm still waiting to hear back from her on that. If that is not an option, she told us several different locations, not just Newburyport, that we could go to. I think one was, might have been Salisbury. They were local, so we have a couple of different options. But we are trying to hopefully offer that here in February, I think it would be, or March. I'm just waiting to hear back from her, and she was supposed to know soon how many volunteers she would have. They go through a whole training process every year. They have to make sure they understand all the tax codes, and they have software that they have to use. If they decide to change the software on them, everyone has to learn new software, but volunteers that are recurring just kind of get a refresher course on the software that they're using. So I'm hoping to hear back sooner, but more information will be in our next newsletter about that. As always, NEAT is always looking for more volunteer drivers. Our Boston rides are the biggest stumbling block for us, but we even have rides to Newburyport that we can't get people there because there's just not enough volunteer drivers, so they're always recruiting for that. Last Thursday morning, I opened our bids for our van. I had 1 bid. So, but it is exactly what we were looking for. So it is a low floor van, a ramp comes out. It is a pretty awesome vehicle, so we're excited. I have to get a some paperwork over to them, and then they will give me a better idea of what a time frame would be. But the gentleman I spoke with is thinking like 9 months. So we have our current van that's working just fine. It's just not conducive to everybody that we're looking to serve. So that's why we looked for the new one. So it will be okay for the meantime, but we're excited. We did talk about some additional options. They can put in a rack for walkers, where if you think about where the driver is, where the co-pilot would be, will be transformed into a rack for walkers. Air purification system within the van. The windows for the driver open, but the rest of the windows in the van do not open, so I thought it'd be wise to have an air purification system in there. And a suspension upgrade, which was a minimal expense. But if any of you are interested in viewing that, I have a binder of information on it. Just an FYI, the Council on Aging will be closed to the public this Thursday, the 22nd. Staff will still be there, but our space is hosting the town employee holiday party, so we did not book any programs this Thursday. And then our offices are closed on Monday, the 26th, in observance of Christmas. The following Monday, the 2nd, for New Year's. And then Monday, January 16th, is Martin Luther King Day. So we'll be closed on those Mondays. That's it.
That's a lot.
One good thing about the van, if I'm not mistaken, so far, it looks like that the money that we got through grants is gonna cover the van. I don't think we'll exceed that.
Not
So
exceeding.
it's,
Even with the additional options that I also am looking at having the van wrapped. I don't know if you've seen the van that we have currently. It's not in the parking lot right now, but there's a blue racing stripe down the side that just says Newbury Council on Aging. I'm looking to have the van wrapped to have something a little bit more eye-popping, and I also want our telephone number on there. So it won't just be some boring old, I'm hoping it'll be a little more flashy, but not so expressive
Disco
as the
lights.
MVRTA new buses. I don't know if you've seen
yeah,
them.
strobe lights, yeah,
Yeah.
strobe lights, yeah.
But you'll know it's us.
Great. New business. I'll tell you my new business. I'm gonna pass out these just for information. Some of you have seen them before. Thank you. Just briefly, for those that don't know, at one point in time, a couple of years ago,
Yeah, I'll share.
they mailed out 2,200
Oh, you didn't know.
2,200 surveys to try to get people to identify what they'd like to do with the Council on Aging. And I tabulated the results, and we'll look at it at some point in time with bearing in mind who is interested in doing X and how many people actually participate in X. Because I think the theme I'd like to have for next year is recruitment. I'd like all of us to try to recruit people to come to activities that we have. I mean, realistically, there's like 3.5 years left on the lease for downstairs, and what happens next is going to depend on participation in events. So I think if we can do that, if we can recruit, it's the best thing we can do. And the last thing I'll talk about is game night. I go to game night, and they always serve food. Don't be afraid to go. Twice, the last 2 times, we never played a game. There were like 6 of us at the table, and we had the most interesting conversations at game night, okay? Which was good for me, because typically everybody beats me at whatever game I try to play.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
You
The
heard that
reports
rumor?
are that you just get creamed.
It's just the reality. It's a loser.
To the point where he flips the game up on the table.
Storms away from
I might be a candidate for anger management. But the food is always great. I mean, and the people are really interesting, to the extent that those same people tried to sit at the Christmas luncheon together, because there's sort of like a little bonding there, which was good. That's all for my new business. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to talk about new business?
I mean, I just want to say, I haven't been able to make the meetings, for which I'm very sorry, work has gotten away, but I have been through the Council on Aging a couple of times, and they're doing some great things down there. The space looks great, it seems like it's functioning very well, so I want to compliment the whole staff on the job that they're doing.
I concur.
Well said.
That's excellent.
Yeah, they are doing a great job. I should mention too, that if you look at the holiday tree that was set up downstairs, the star was sitting on this spiral spring, and it didn't exactly stay.
It was a little heavy for the top of the tree.
Went side to side. So Jeff Walker reacted to a design I sketched, and he turned a piece of wood to insert that. So kudos to Jeff to rise
Yes,
to the
now
occasion.
our star is straight up on the tree.
Straight now, it's straight. The spring is exposed. It's an issue for Kathy, but
We're fixing it, we're fixing it.
I brought some branches from my Christmas tree, and I'm gonna cover it up, so she'll be happy. Everybody will be happy. No need for an executive session. Our next meeting will be on January 23rd, the week after Martin Luther King Day. Extend my wishes to everybody for the happiest of holidays and a healthy and productive new year. And having said that, I think I'll look for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Sorry.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.